The film opens with a book of scriptures quote from Nahum 3:6, "I will provide reason to feel ambiguous about terrible foulness, make you disgusting and make you an exhibition." The primary thing shown is a horrendous chimp meandering around an untidy sitcom set. This will appear to be legit later. Otis Haywood Sr. also, his child, Otis Jr., alluded to as OJ, start their day by dealing with the ponies at their Hollywood farm, Haywood's Hollywood Ponies. Behind the scenes, a radio notices the puzzling vanishing of two climbers. Before long, the power goes out and, after shouts are heard from the sky, flotsam and jetsam tumbles from the sky. A coin falls through Otis Sr's eye, killing him. OJ attempts to get him to the clinic without any result. Afterward, in the wake of showing up back at the farm, OJ sees a key pierced into one of the ponies. The initial credits are displayed alongside a green square, later zooming into the principal film of a person of color riding a pony. A half year after the occasion, OJ sits tight for his sister Emerald, alluded to as M, on a film set where one of their ponies, Fortunate, is to be utilized for a business recorded by cinematographer Tusks Holst. Emerald before long shows up and helps make sense of the security precautionary measures of recording with Fortunate, likewise referencing that the person of color on the pony in the primary movie is her and OJ's extraordinary incredible granddad. Nonetheless, the staff disregards them and affronts the pony's limits, making it respond brutally. The Haywoods are terminated from the venture, with a VFX horse supplanting Fortunate all things being equal. With the farm battling monetarily, the Haywoods go to meet Ricky Jupe Park, a previous kid entertainer who possesses a Western-themed carnival named Jupiter's Case, to sell Fortunate to him, the 11th pony to be sold. During the gathering, Jupe describes a SNL sketch in view of a damaging occasion during his kid acting vocation, when a chimp entertainer went wild on the arrangement of the sitcom Gordy's Home. Jupe offers to purchase the Haywood farm, and M later urges OJ to acknowledge the arrangement. That evening, M describes to OJ about how Otis Sr. guaranteed M that she would prepare her most memorable pony named Jean Coat, albeit the pony would later turn out to be utilized for a film, which wound up utilizing another creature at any rate. M sees that apparition, one more pony of theirs, strangely wound up in the field. Starting here, the film is partitioned into sections, each title alluding to the creatures in the film. This part is named Apparition. OJ goes to the field and tracks down Apparition there. Unexpectedly, he sees something from a long way off, a few lights and a voice playing on the speakers. The lights and the voice gradually switch off, and Phantom escapes the field. OJ finds Apparition escaping from the farm and vanishing while different ponies act savagely in the farm. As the power of the Haywood home switches off for a couple of moments, OJ sees a flying saucer overhead. OJ depicts it as large and quick to M. The two purchase a few cameras the following day at Fry's Gadgets, looking to be popular from the recording, where staff part Heavenly Messenger Torres clears up for them that he'll assist with setting up the cameras, hypothesizing that the Haywoods may be in a UFO area of interest. Later on, he visits the farm to do as such, portraying his viewpoint on outsiders all the while. M leaves immediately and gets back with a taken presentation horse from Jupiter's Case, meaning to involve it as a snare. Jupe later shows up at the farm to interrogate M concerning the presentation horse, however she feigns right out of it. Jupe endeavors to welcome the Haywoods to an occasion, however his flyer is removed by the breeze. He then leaves. This section is named Clover. That evening, the cameras and the distraction horse are set up. OJ sees that somebody let another pony, Clover, out. He then, at that point, experiences what is by all accounts various outsiders. At the point when one of them sneaks behind OJ, he smacks it directly upside the head, just to figure out it's a youngster. The outsiders are uncovered to be Jupe's kids, provoking him to take their bait horse. Afterward, OJ goes to track down Clover, yet the UFO shows up and sucks up the imitation pony, which stalls out, making Clover take off. Heavenly Messenger, furtively watching their cameras at Fry's, lets M know that the UFO is in the mists, and M yells at OJ to run. OJ figures out how to stow away securely, yet witnesses Clover getting sucked up as well. They neglect to get the recording they need, as an imploring mantis had obstructed the perspective on a camera that remained on the web, not impacted by the UFO. M advises OJ that they need to leave, however he lets her that no, there's something else to this besides they think, and convinces her to remain and happen with the arrangement. The following day, Holy Messenger shows up at the farm once more, making sense of that he rewinded through their recording and found a cloud that never moves, which may be the UFO's concealing spot. M contacts Tusks and attempts to inspire him to go along with them, yet he declines, asserting that they'd never awaken from this fantasy about being popular. OJ contemplates whether the UFO isn't a boat. This section is named Gordy. It is 1998. Youthful Jupe and his kindred entertainers act in an episode for the sitcom Gordy's Home named Gordy's Birthday. During a scene where inflatables are delivered in the room, the inflatables begin popping, stunning the chimp playing Gordy, who begins to go wild and assaults the human stars. Jupe conceals under a table, sees a shoe standing up all alone, which he would later show off from now on, and looks as individual co-stars Mary Jo Elliott and Tom Bogan get gone after by the chimp, who quiets down subsequent to completing the assaults. The chimp sees Jupe and approaches him, utilizing gesture-based communication to ask what has been going on with the family. The chimp connects his clench hand for the pair's notorious clench hand knock, however before their clench hands can contact, the chimp is shot dead. Back in the present, Jupe ponders the slaughter. His better half, Golden, persuades him to plan for an impending occasion, and assists him with recounting his lines. This section is named Fortunate. While Heavenly Messenger sets up coverings for an approaching tempest, OJ finds Jupe's fly advancing the star rope in sight. Finding that this could include Fortunate, he heads to Jupiter's case to luck out back. In the meantime, the star rope experience is beginning. Jupe informs the crowd concerning a night where he saw the UFO, and promises that they will leave differently in the wake of seeing a display. The UFO shows up sooner than expected. Jupe uncovers a glass box that contains Fortunate, intended to be sucked up for the show. Fortunate will not leave the container, and the UFO shows up over the crowd, which incorporates Mary Jo Elliott, whose face has been distorted from the Gordy episode. The camera centers around Jupe's stunned articulation as the shadows behind him portray the crowd being sucked up by the UFO. Within the UFO is shown, and it is uncovered to be an outsider itself, with the green square from the initial credits being its eye. In this manner, Jupe, his family, and the crowd are processed by the outsider, while shouts and the crunching of bones are heard behind the scenes. OJ shows up at the unfilled Jupiter's case and tracks down Fortunate, before the outsider revisitations of attempt to suck him up and he gets taken out by the seats of the field. He awakens around evening time and views as Fortunate flawless, prior to stacking the pony into his truck and driving towards the farm. He calls M and cautions her that the UFO is really a ruthless outsider who sees the farm and the region encompassing it as its domain, while Holy Messenger, going to leave the farm, is compelled to look for shelter in the house. The outsider shows up over the Haywood house and retaches blood and garbage, to M and Heavenly Messenger's shock. OJ shows up at the house yet his truck is closed down before he can arrive at it, and the outsider goes over the truck and lets out the imitation pony. The following morning, OJ gets M and Heavenly Messenger to escape in Holy Messenger's truck, and the outsider shows up once more. Reviewing the previous occurrence with Fortunate on the business set, OJ doesn't take a gander at the outsider and figures out how to endure the experience. The gathering moves away effectively and goes to Holy Messenger's condo. That evening, while at the same time having supper, OJ makes sense that the outsider feels tested when individuals see it and afterward eats them. In the interim, Horn stands by listening to a news report about the vanishing of the Star Tether Experience's crowd and chooses to join OJ, M, and Heavenly Messenger. The following day, he visits their home and the gathering starts to design. Horns will bring a hand-turned camera that will not be deactivated by the outsider, presently called Gene Code. The gathering will utilize tube-man props to reason where the outsider is, M will watch the region utilizing cameras, and OJ will snare Gene Code. This section is named Gene Code. The following day comes and the arrangement is set into movement. Notwithstanding, writer Mybridge, a TMZ columnist, illegally enters the region and tumbles off his motorbike when Gene Code deactivates it. OJ endeavors to save Ryder, however is driven away from him to pass on when Gene Code shows up. OJ effectively traps the outsider, assisting Prongs with catching film. In any case, Prongs concludes that the world doesn't merit the recording, and allows himself to wind up dead by gene code, annihilating the recording all the while. After M and Heavenly Messenger endure their experiences with gene code, it begins to unfurl into an immense jellyfish-like structure. After M and OJ show respect for one another, the previous purpose is Ryder's motorbike to drive towards Jupiter's case while the last option traps gene code away. When arriving at Jupiter's case, M untether the recreation area's monster expansion mascot and utilizes the Winkin' Well, a fascination that utilizes a simple camera, to catch a photograph of gene code as it eats the inflatable mascot. The inflatable and gene code detonate, and in the wake of shouting and wind, M rests close to the Winkin' Well. As correspondents show up, M stands up, shuts her eyes, and opens them again to see OJ writing Fortunate, showing up from the mist. The film closes with a fix of the photo of gene code,